Jacob Roloff opens up about using the land well on family farm after drama with dad Matt Roloff. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Jacob Roloff opened up about using the land well on his family's farm after his father, Matt Roloff, chose to not sell the property to any of his kids. The Little People, Big World alum, 28, took to Instagram on Sunday, April 13, to share photos of himself and his son, Matteo, 3, on Roloff Farms. Alongside the photos, he shared a quote that read, "There are no agricultural miracles innocent of the sweat of laboring peoples." Great quote for the way I think about the future of the farm lately. No more TV, no technology, and no gimmicks can escape the reality that we have to use the land well or we don't deserve to keep it, he wrote in the caption. There's a lot of ways it could go, and a lot of things we can do after reforming old SOPs and opening up. With no capital myself and only sweat and labor, I hope I can get some good things going if the priorities can get ironed out. While he said he hopes to see the farm continue to thrive during pumpkin season, Jacob added, "I would really love to see summer markets under our windmill, maybe with some you-pick fruit areas, food carts, and craft booths. I can see lots of people coming out for that. Some events too, and maybe classes. Who knows? Something more legitimate for and commensurate with this beautiful land I'm gratefully able to steward. More trees, more blooming, more growing, more community-oriented, more alive and more real most of all." Jacob continued the caption by explaining some of the work he has done on the farm. "Tio helped me plant some cherry trees along the old property line the other day. The same line had some poplar or locust trees with a different fence along it when I grew up," he shared. "We bought the neighboring property due to the unnatural influx of show income, irrespective of farming, and the trees died or were cut, and we merged the lines. Now we're planting some cherries along the same old line but from the other side. The old place will be rented until it sells an esta economia. But it's exciting to have an essentially open slate on this new side to do whatever we can to save it for another generation," Jacob wrote. "I just have a feeling that actually farming could be the most rewarding and obvious choice. So I'm planting at least 100 trees a year and going to try and grow as many pumpkins and flowers as I can for an enjoyable and beautiful season this year." Jacob wrapped up the caption by acknowledging what the farm means to his family. "Whatever ends up happening, at the very least Matteo will have spent a lot of quality time with me doing the Lord's work planting trees and getting his hands dirty," he wrote. Onward, the former TV personality, who shares his son with wife Isabel Rock, penned the message after fans learned that Matt, 63, chose to not sell the family farm to Jacob or his 3 siblings, Zach Roloff, Jeremy Roloff, and Molly Roloff. While Jacob, Zach, 34, and Jeremy, 34, all expressed interest in buying Roloff Farms from Matt, the patriarch opted to put a portion of the family's land up for sale in May 2022 for $4 million. The decision led Zach and Matt to have issues, and he, his wife, Tori Roloff, and their children relocated from Oregon to Washington. Despite choosing not to keep the farm in their family, Matt took the property off the market in October 2022 and announced his plans to convert it into a rental. Little People Big World alum Audrey Roloff is pregnant with her and husband Jeremy Roloff's 4th baby. Audrey, 32, captioned an Instagram reel on Monday, November 20. "We are so excited to be growing our family again and adding another little grommet to our crew in the sweet clip." Audrey turned to Jeremy, 33, and whispered something in his ear. After getting the message, Jeremy picked up his wife and twirled her around as their 3 children, daughter Ember, 6, and sons Bode, 3, and Radley, 2, waited to hear the news. Once Jeremy was done celebrating, he relayed the message to his eldest daughter. Ember then proceeded to play telephone with her little brothers. The video ended with Radley sharing the exciting news by saying Big Brother Hollywood stars, including Brody Jenner and Logic, announced in 2023 that they are expanding their families by welcoming new babies. Jenner shared on January 1 that his now fiancée, Tia Blanco, was pregnant with their first child. To start off this new year, we'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of our friends family. Earlier this year, Audrey shut down speculation that she was expecting when fans messaged her about a bikini pic. Really, guys, don't we know not to ask this question? She wrote via her Instagram story in August after receiving DMs about a possible baby bump in her pictures. But no, I'm not. Audrey showed off another photo taken from a different angle with her stomach looking flat. Guess I should have chosen this pic/angle instead, but Rad looked cuter in the other one, she penned. Jeremy is the second eldest son of Matt Roloff and Amy Roloff, who are also the parents of Zach Roloff, Jacob Roloff, and Molly Roloff. The famous family were the stars of the hit TLC series, which began airing in 2006. Amy Roloff and Matt Roloff welcomed 3 kids ahead of their 2016 split and are now proud grandparents. The TLC personalities wed in September 1987, and their twin sons, Jeremy and Zach, arrived 3 years later. Their daughter, Molly, arrived in 1993, followed by son Jacob in 1997. Amy and Matt began their television career. Audrey joined the family in 2014 when she and Jeremy tied the knot in Oregon. The couple exited LPBW in 2018, 1 year after they welcomed Ember. After 14 years, over 300 episodes, and 17 seasons, the time has come. A year ago, I made the decision that this season would be our last. Jeremy wrote via Instagram at the time. It has been an amazing run, and I can't say thank you enough to all of you who have watched and supported us along the ride. We have the most loyal fans on TV, and we appreciate every one of you. You are what made doing this so fun. We will still be supporting the family as they carry the LPBW torch onward. This is a decision concerning Audrey and me specifically. The show must go on. Ryan Coogler only makes personal movies. Fruitvale Station was set in his hometown of Oakland, California, and explored the last day of Oscar Grant. Creed was dreamed up for his father, who loved Rocky unabashedly, and Black Panther let him grapple with the idea of what it means to be African. In just 4 features, he established himself as one of the top filmmakers working today. It hardly mattered if it was based on a real-life incident or part of the Marvel machine. Coogler made the movies his own and audiences followed. But one thing he hadn't yet done was a movie that came entirely from his own imagination. Sinners, which Warner Bros. Releases in theaters nationwide this weekend, is just that. Coogler's first original film blends elements of supernatural horror, gangster drama, romance, blues music, and action across one eventful day in Clarksdale, Mississippi in 1932, in which a community opens a juke joint and then has to defend it from a vampire army growing outside. It's something that needs to be seen to be believed, right down to Coogler's longtime collaborator, Michael B. Jordan, playing identical twins, and it's already a critical hit. An IMAX-sized love letter to the movies and people who shaped him. Jurassic Park is probably not a film that anyone would categorize first as horror, Coogler knows, but there were terrifying moments that imprinted on his consciousness. Films like Get Out and The Shining did the same. He wanted to give audiences that feeling too, and threw everything he loved into Sinners. I pulled from a lot of films that inspired me, Coogler said. I wanted to pay back the theatrical audience the same things that I feel were poured into me. The setting of the film was also inspired by his family's ties to a Mississippi of the past. One was his maternal grandfather, who originated from Merrill, Mississippi, and moved to Oakland, where the family remains. The other was the man who introduced him to blues music, his Uncle James, who died while Coogler was making Creed. Fitting for the scale of the story, Sinners was shot on large format film, including IMAX 65mm and Ultra Panavision 70-65mm film shot on Panavision lenses in the widest aspect ratio, which Quentin Tarantino famously resurrected for The Hateful Eight. I knew it would be a period piece and a horror movie, so I knew film made the most sense for that, Coogler said. But after getting into the research of the project and learning the epic scale of the contribution of Delta blues when it comes to global popular culture, how this music kinda launched pop music as we know it, I realized that this was a larger-than-life story. Why have one Michael B. Jordan when you can have two? Coogler called on Jordan, who has appeared in all of his films, to play the identical twins Smoke and Stack. Their characters served in the war and worked with Chicago gangsters, but have come back to Mississippi with plans to open a juke joint. Though having Jordan as twins was great in theory and even final product, the execution was challenging. On some days, both felt like they were making a movie for the first time. Some scenes were shot traditionally, while others used cutting-edge technology called the Halo rig that allowed them to digitally place Jordan's head on the body of a double. Jordan might have looked a bit like RoboCop on set while in the contraption, but the end result is seamless even on unforgiving large format film. There was no confusion when he was Smoke. He was so Smoke, and he was mine, said Mosaku. We would just kind of gravitate towards each other. And when he was Stack, he was so Mary's. Miles Catton, Haley Steinfeld, and a mix of new and veteran talent. One of the things Coogler always loved about going to the movies was the feeling of discovering a fresh face. Here, he hopes that comes in the form of Miles Catton, a 19-year-old newcomer who's essentially third lead to Jordan's twins as Sammy or Preacher Boy, a blues prodigy who wants to play music and not follow his father to the church. Catton was singing backup for H.E.R. when she told him about the top-secret role, and he made an audition tape. He laughed, bad, but Coogler saw something in him. Ryan had sent me an essential blues playlist, and that's where I started to discover some of the great blues artists that we know today, Catton said. I learned about Howlin' Wolf and Charlie Patton, Buddy Guy. Those were the guys I kind of studied for this role. Delroy Lindo is the other side of the blues spectrum as Delta Slim, an older man in town who he said recognizes Sammy as the future, not just musically, but of our culture. The film's ensemble is vast, with some faces you know and others you might be meeting for the first time, including Jamie Lawson as a local singer, Omar Miller as a sharecropper, and Jack O'Connell as, well, an Irish vampire. Sinners also presents a more accurate version of the Deep South at the time than audiences may be used to seeing in Hollywood films, with Lee Jun Lee and Yao as Asian American shop owners. All seem to learn a bit about themselves in the process, including Steinfeld, whose character is biracial but passing as white. This film brought me closer to my family and my family history, said Steinfeld, whose grandfather was half black and half Filipino. I think that it will serve as such an amazing conversation starter for people and maybe encourage them to look into their genealogy. The Ryan Coogler effect. There was a shared sense of purpose on Sinners that no wool costumes in 100-plus degree temperatures, chiggers, or stray alligators wandering onto the Louisiana